Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of
Mind, Body,
Relationship. Hi, my name is Emerald Hill, and I'm with Dr. Laurie Ponsford Hill.
Hello there, everybody. Hi, Emerald. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm really excited because we get to come back from the last time that we spoke talking about our blog that we had written 3 years ago, the Emotionally Focused Eating Power blog. And so we're going through each blog post and kind of reflecting based on the new information we've gained and thinking about the information from the past. And so then setting a dare at the end of each week, so to kind of continue the learning cycle. And last week we spoke about the first blog post, and we were able to set the goal of actually the dare of actually writing a food journal.
Yes. Now, I had gotten away from writing the food journal probably a couple of years ago. Kind of got to the point where it is that I sort of had it memorized, and so I fell off the wagon, so to speak.
Right.
And I know, Emerald, you kept it up. Yes, for 3 years you have been writing down every single thing that you've been eating every day with calories and with carbs, right?
Sort of. Well, so for a while I really was I was doing it very precisely, and then for a little bit I started getting used to the things that I was eating too, so I would just kind of like vaguely write down what I would eat. But it was like a really great kind of learning, because I recognized that I could maintain doing that. I could maintain really well doing that, but when I actually wanted to continue that journey of losing weight, it was about getting back to that specifics and really paying attention to, making sure I was aware of the portion sizes and the calories that went with that.
So true. So I am now back on the wagon, so to speak, and have been for this past week since we set the dare, writing down my list as well. Not as specifically, I think, as it is that I need to, and not, as of yet, writing down the carbohydrates or writing down the calories. Yes, so I did achieve the goal, and you know what? It takes a bit of work to actually do that, to have and I just used an old date book that I just didn't fill out. And so I've kept it with me for the last week, and as it is that I find myself eating something, then just writing down, just generally speaking, this, whatever that might be.
And that's a really great strategy for kind of getting used to conceptualizing what you'll need to sort of be honing down when you do get to that point when you want to start adjusting the things that you're eating, because you don't want to make such a blunt and sudden adjustment from having a burrito every Wednesday to all of a sudden only eating salad for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And so if you're able to write down vaguely what you do like to eat during the day, and you get the kind of consensus, let's say that you end up eating around 2,000 calories, then you can start seeing maybe if I want to cut back to about 1,700 calories, then I'll just start, not putting so much sauce with this burrito, and then just cutting back slowly. So you're not taking away the things that you're used to, that you've already installed a habit by, but you are making those steps in that progress of self-awareness.
So, first dare achieved.
Yay!
Yes. So now the thing is to keep up that dare, right? The whole point is to get into the habit of actually writing it out as a starting point, just getting used to doing it, right? So number 1, achieved. Yeah.
Check mark.
Yes, and then later we're going to be taking a look at that food journal, and then we're going to be starting to identify the specifics of what needs to happen in it. Yes, okay. So for today, we're moving on to day 2, right, of our original blog, which is just really interesting because we were talking about the difference between being a relaxed individual, right, and as opposed to being a specific individual, right, to do with how it is you view yourself Are you the type of person that has, well, generally speaking, been walking around in the slumpy clothes, right? The relaxed and easygoing clothes that you don't have to stress or worry about your appearance in any kind of way?
Right.
Or are you the type of person that really, spends a lot of time, a lot of effort in how it is that you look and how you put together your wardrobe and all those kinds of things in order to be able to, well, be the best person that you can possibly be, which translates into how it is that you look at food as well.
Right. It was kind of funny reading the blog post because we used a lot of dialogue that during the past 3 years there's been different movements that I think would be kind of scrutinized today, I think just by the way that we phrased it, which was the difference between the value of feeling comfortable and the value of looking good. And I think that with the body positivity movement and the body acceptance movement, there was really a push that no matter what weight you're at, it's really good to have the concept and have the belief that no matter what, you can look good. And I think that that's a really kind of important distinction to make, is that no matter what size you're at, it is important to feel good about yourself, and it's important to consider yourself as a good-looking person. It's also just important to consider that putting an effort into the way that you dress also brings up that value and really helps you practice holding that strategy and that basically commitment to yourself, that you're going to be making choices every single day and intentions towards the new person that you really want to be. Because as much as it is that, yes, it's good to sort of step around, bad feelings about, looking at yourself and thinking that change means that you don't like the way that you look now. Well, the truth is that there's something that you don't like about yourself now that you are wanting to change. And I think that it's about really holding yourself in that feeling of discomfort. That's really good to accept that there are going to be moments where you feel bad about yourself and you feel like you're not good enough. But it is also important to say you're doing this whole thing because you do feel like you're good enough. That's what this whole journey is about. So what are those steps that you can do moving forward to, stay strong and stay close with those values that you are good enough? This is something that you actually do value, you actually do want to do, and that is something that will make you feel good about yourself in the future. So even though it's uncomfortable, and you might be scared that in the future you'll just always feel uncomfortable, what about that is what you're looking for? What is good about that? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, what I was thinking about as you were talking is how it is that we actually really spend a lot of time in avoidance. And so we avoid things by putting ourselves together in order to incorporate the things that we don't want, and by not paying attention to them and yet paying attention to them all at the same time, right? It's kind of like, you develop a limp, and so you just keep limping. But the truth is there's something that has caused the limp. And sometimes we're so afraid of actually delving into what that might be about that we just keep limping. And so, I think it's really interesting, like what you wrote about yourself with the grunge look. And I remember that era, right? And you were actually really working with, in essence, a limp. Right? Because the truth is that it did work for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though at that time you were also very unhappy.
It's kind of funny that you say that, because as we were reading it, I was like, that's so weird that I said it in such a negative way, because I actually really liked that look. Like I said, like I was wearing 10 necklaces and a scarf as a belt, and like, wow, what was I thinking? But I'm sitting here in like my, Powerpuff Girl t-shirt and my skirt, and I'm still thinking like, I could do that today. Like if it wasn't so hot out, I would still try it, And it's just so interesting, that journey too, of like, having that respect for my past self and saying like, there was autonomy there. There was things that I was doing for myself. It's just, interesting to think like, that balance of not putting yourself down to be able to change into someone else you want to be. It's just that evolution.
Mm-hmm.
That will always be a part of you. It's just, what's the next step? What's next? Yeah.
Oh dear, yeah. So I think that it's just really interesting, right? Because it just depends how you're looking at yourself and what it is that you really want to style yourself as, right? Mm-hmm. You are looking at yourself in order to create who it is that you want to be. And I think that that's really important, right? And so the key, I think, to this week is really just taking a look at yourself, doing a self-assessment. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be this week's dare, to just take a look at yourself in the mirror, right? And then just really identify, well, what works, what doesn't work, what am I happy with, what are the emotions or situations that I might be avoiding, right? So that you can really start to pay attention to who it is that you are currently and what it is that you're going to be setting yourself up to start to work on to create change for you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So body outline, right? And then just start really paying attention to how you feel about yourself. What's going on inside of you? What's going on outside of you, right? What are your circumstances? What is it that is actually really supporting how it is that you put yourself together? And what would actually really need to change in order to be able to change those circumstances to support something else that you might want to be about? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then how would that change how it is that you feel about yourself?
Yeah, that was really well put.
Well, then that's really good. Yeah, so that's this week's dare. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be one of those games where, like, how you have to go in a circle and there's 20 people and each person has to name something and then each person has to, like, keep naming everything before. Mm-hmm. But, like, so last week's dare is to continue the food journal. Yes. And then this week's dare is to do our body outline and to think about how we feel about ourselves. And to really do everything that you said. I don't want to rehash it and butcher it, but do that dare as well. So yeah, I think that this week is going to be filled with a lot of thoughts and a lot of processing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yes, and so it is. It's about accumulating, right? It's really about the accumulation to change. So it's not like something that you do and then it dies. No, it's about doing it and incorporating it, making it your own, and creating that to be a part of your life going forward. That's what creates consistent change. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a lot of fun, don't you?
Yeah. Real good starting point. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and I would love to hear what you are processing and how you are going about this journey and what you think about the podcast so far. So please give a like and leave a comment down below. Please subscribe as well and turn on that notification button. And thank you so much for joining us today. I hope to see you next week on our 3rd episode reflection.
Perfect.
Thanks so much for coming in.
No problem.
Bye for now.
Bye.